The Young and the Restless spoilers indicate that Alan Laurent has gone to Paris to prepare a surprise for Tracy Abbott. However, this could mean trouble since Alan is not acting like himself and Ashley Abbott is still in Paris. Is Ashley's danger from Martin Laurent once again? While Tracy was arranging for the Abbott jet to transport her and Alan to Paris, he was off buying a commercial ticket. Alan told Tracy he had a surprise for her and wanted her to meet him in a few days. However, Tracy was confused considering they are supposed to be planning their wedding. What exactly is going on with Alan these days? Tracy thought she and Alan were on the same page after his proposal, at least until she saw those messages on his phone. Tracy was concerned, but Alan made it seem as though she were prying. Alan then skipped town the first chance he got, or did he? Alan needs time away from Tracy to figure out what happened at the clinic. Is he still in Genoa City after all? Phyllis Summers and Sharon Newman have escaped Alan's mousetrap. Unfortunately, that was not supposed to be the case. Alan had rigged the room to fill with oxygen and kill both of them if they got too close. However, thanks to Nikki Newman and Billy Abbott, that didn't go as planned. If Alan did go to Paris, he could be trying to get his hands on Ashley because he has already caused her dead to resurface. Alan tried to cause similar issues with Phyllis and Sharon, but they didn't allow that to work, at least now until they escaped. However, Phyllis seems to be struggling badly right now to keep her sanity. Ashley revealed to her daughter that she felt almost normal, but not quite. After all of this time in therapy, Ashley hasn't gotten back to normal. Whatever Martin did to mess with her head was just too much. Could Alan see her weakness and go after her again? Will Martin end up messing with Ashley's head once again? Will Tracy realize what is going on and get away from Alan before it is too late? Could Alan end up locking Tracy up with Ashley to keep his secret hidden for some master plan that fans have yet to see? It seems that it could be May sweeps before the truth comes out. What more will Tracy learn about her fiancé by then? Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Pulse Canvas. It's me, Julie here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching. So let's dive into today's video. The Young and the Restless scoop for the week of March 24 reveals Sharon Newman will put the pieces together for Tracy Abbott. Why and our spoilers tease Nikki and Jack will get into it about her husband. Jack believes Victor Newman is still plotting against him, and of course, he's right. But although Nikki suspects Victor's up to something, she'll defend him nonetheless. At the park, Billy will meet up with Phyllis, who will admit she's still having issues after her kidnapping. Talk will turn to his plans for Abbott Communications and he'll share his latest plan. But will he admit he's partnered up with the mysterious Aristotle Dumas? Meanwhile, Daniel and Tessa will discuss how Mariah Copeland is still struggling with and blames herself for what happened to Sharon. Daniel will say maybe he could talk to her. I wish he would, Tessa will reply. She's certainly not opening up to me about it. Other Y and R spoilers tease Devin Winters will get disturbing news. Plus, Kyle Abbott and Claire Newman will break some rules, and Phyllis and Sharon will discuss their ordeal. Finally, Tracy will run into Sharon at Crimson Lights, and she'll share what she and Phyllis went through at Havnhurst. Sharon's story will help Tracy make an alarming connection between the kidnapping and Alan Laurent's phone alerts. When Jack arrives, she'll tell her brother her suspicions. Tracy's not sure her fiancé is who he says he is. Maybe he's actually his twin brother Martin. So, a worried Jack will advise his sister to ditch her plans to go to Paris to meet Alan. But will she take Jack's advice or head there anyway? The Young and the Restless spoilers update for Tuesday, March 25, reveals that Nikki Newman's plan will pay off as Phyllis Summers and Sharon Newman reach a decision. Devin Winters will also be alarmed over something he discovers, so some exciting dramas on the way in Genoa City. After getting updates from Michael Baldwin, Victor Newman will want to bring Lily Winters in the loop on what he's learned. There's no evidence that Aristotle is going after Winters, and his connection to Damian Kane just seems like a coincidence according to Michael. Lily should be relieved if Victor admits that info, but he may also ask for a favor. Since Victor is worried about Aristotle's next move, he may deliver a proposal and hope that Lily will help lure his old competitor into the spotlight. Some alarm bells will go off for Devin on Tuesday's Y and R episode, so he may have concerns if he hears this proposition, too. Devin may think it's a terrible idea to risk getting on Aristotle's bad side, especially considering Damian's connection to him. Since Devin has been all about minding his own business lately, he may warn Lily that's what they both need to do here. However, there's a chance Devin's alarming discovery will tie in with Damian instead. Damian and Nate Hastings went to Chicago for a visit with Amy Lewis, who was just admitted to the hospital for a new treatment. If Nate calls and gushes over the connection he's forming with his new brother, that could leave Devin worried about Nate becoming way too trusting. Damian appears to have an agenda, so Devin may not be so quick to buy all this sibling stuff. Across town, Nick's plan to help Sharon and Phyllis should bring positive news. Phyllis and Sharon will take a moment to process the trauma they went through together, so that'll help them nail down where to go from here. Sharon and Phyllis may decide they're on the same page about not being full-blown foes anymore. That doesn't mean Phyllis and Sharon will be ready to start making friendship bracelets, but tolerating each other should be good enough for now. Nick may make some predictions about Sharon and Phyllis staying on this better road, but Phyllis will continue to deal with some personal struggles following the kidnapping mayhem. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Phyllis will lean on Billy Abbott later during the week of March 24-28, so stay tuned. We'll have other scorching Young and the Restless spoilers, updates, and news, so make us your one-stop Y and R source. The Young and the Restless spoilers update for the week of March 24-28 reveals that Sally Spectra will demand Billy Abbott's confession after Phyllis Summers learns a secret. Victor Newman will also have an announcement to make, so here's what Y and R fans can expect. First, Victor will give Michael Baldwin updates on his history with Aristotle Dumas, which involved a bit of a business rivalry. Aristotle and Victor used to compete for companies, so Victor will worry about whatever agenda Aristotle might have now. Since Victor will smell trouble, he'll come up with a trap that could lure Aristotle out into the open. Lily Winters and Devin Winters will be part of Victor's scheme, but Devin may want no part of this if he figures out what's happening. Although Victor is normally a few steps ahead of the game, it seems Aristotle will gain the upper hand for a bit. Aristotle will reach out to Billy over the phone, so he might be the one Billy had a phone conversation with in Paris, too. Whatever the case, Sally will grow curious after she sees Aristotle Dumas' name as the caller. It should lead to some questions for Billy to dodge eventually. Phyllis will lose control of her emotions during a tense conversation with Nick Newman and Summer Newman, but they'll refuse to give up on helping her. Once Phyllis starts working through her trauma and clears the air with Sharon Newman, that'll help a little. Even so, Phyllis will still feel the need to hide from her family in the park later. Billy will want to help Phyllis, but it looks like she'll think work is the best thing for her right now. After Billy reveals his secret Aristotle plot, Phyllis have a chance to weigh in and offer some advice. Sally, on the other hand, may sense that she's being kept in the dark. Perhaps Sally will remind Billy that he said he didn't want secrets between them and push him to confess to her, too. Once Sally hears about all the Aristotle drama, she'll realize Billy lied about letting go of his revenge mission. Billy definitely still wants the Newmans to pay, so it seems Sally will push him to admit it. While Jack Abbott and Nikki Newman find a reason to clash, Kyle Abbott and Claire Newman will ignore the rules as they do something daring together. Later, Victor will announce something that catches his loved ones by surprise. Will this tie in with Victor's trap for Aristotle or some other plan he's got in the works? Over with Adam Newman, he'll playfully argue with Chelsea Lawson over his favorite chips again, as they enjoy a little domestic bliss. At the coffee house, Sharon will give Tracy Abbott some hints that'll help her click things into place regarding Alan Laurent, aka Martin Laurent. Tracy will cry over Alan's deception, so it looks like she'll suspect that he's actually Martin and that he was running the whole kidnapping show at Havnhurst. Once Tracy shares that news with Jack, he'll make some troubling predictions about what Alan might do next and will work to keep his sister safe. Of course, a different sister could be in jeopardy if Alan meets up with Ashley Abbott in Paris, so that's something to keep in mind. The Young and the Restless spoilers say the week of March 24-28 will bring some wild revelations, so stick with the CBS soap. The Young and the Restless spoilers for the next 2 weeks are here. From March 24 to April 4, 2025, fans can expect Sharon Newman to help Tracy Abbott. However, Jack Abbott later fears for his sister's safety. Plus, Billy Abbott shares a secret with Phyllis Summers. Keep reading and let's talk about what is coming up in the CBS soap opera. During the week of March 24, fans can expect Tracy to not be able to shake her concerns about Alan Laurent aka Martin Laurent. Kyle Abbott mentioned the clinic and Jack brought up that Alan has been full of surprises lately. This might be wrong, but I seem to remember Alan telling Tracy in the very beginning that he didn't like surprises. So that could be a huge red flag for Tracy. It's not like Alan/Martin gave the best excuse for the security alert on his phone. Tracy connects with Sharon pretty early in the week at Crimson Lights. Sharon gives the authors some information about her kidnapping crisis at Havnhurst Psychiatric Clinic. When Tracy realizes the truth, she might entertain a few different theories. One is that Alan has some sort of mental illness. The other is that Alan was the one who really died all those months ago, which means Tracy has been dating the psychopathic twin Martin. By the end of the week, Jack fears for Tracy's safety. Does she decide to go to Paris despite her discoveries? Will she confront Alan/Martin, not realizing his surprise might be another experiment? Fans will also see Victor Newman tell Michael Baldwin he has a past with Aristotle Dumas. The Newman patriarch will also set a trap for his enemy. Victor does share some intel with Lily Winters. However, Devin Hamilton Winters will be disturbed by the whole situation. Billy shares a secret with Phyllis, which might have something to do with Dumas. Phyllis will also get some comfort from Nick Newman. Later, Phyllis and Sharon find their dynamic in a strange place. Also, Kyle Abbott and Claire Grace Newman rebel. Jack has a disagreement with Nikki Newman. The Young and the Restless spoilers for the next 2 weeks reveal that Victor's scheme should become more apparent. Meanwhile, Adam Newman and Chelsea Lawson continue getting closer. There should also be some developments with Alan/Martin and Tracy. At some point, there will be some kind of fierce showdown, so stay tuned. Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Remember to keep watching the soap on CBS or Paramount Plus to find out what is coming up next. Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Remember to keep watching the soap on CBS or Paramount Plus to find out what is coming up next. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that there could be another curveball coming in the Aristotle Dumas storyline. There's been a huge mystery surrounding this reclusive billionaire who doesn't even have his picture posted online. Of course, the name Aristotle Dumas appears to be a chosen name rather than one he was born with. The Dumas part was surely selected as a nod to Alexander Dumas, who wrote the Count of Monte Cristo. Perhaps Aristotle, or whatever his real first name is, bonded with Damian Kane over their mutual love for their book. That may have been why Aristotle decided to bring Damian into his corporation and let him run some companies. Victor has a history with Aristotle since they would compete for businesses in the past, but Aristotle would always disappear in the end. However, we should note that Victor previously admitted he never actually met Aristotle. Aristotle's disappearing act was more of a situation where he just wasn't competing anymore. This mystery man would strike and eventually vanish in a sense of removing himself from the drama. The interesting part that they keep playing up the fact that nobody knows what Aristotle looks like. That presents a couple of different options, both of which could involve Billy Flynn's upcoming debut. Y and R's obviously leading fans to believe Aristotle is someone older, or at least old enough to go legitimately compete with Victor. What if the twist is that Aristotle is decades younger, and that's partly why he's kept a low profile? If Billy Flynn is playing Aristotle Dumas, then maybe he created this mysterious image to make sure he was taken seriously despite being more youthful than many of his competitors. Flynn is 39 now, but Aristotle has been operating long enough to earn billions and create a massive empire. On the other hand, there's another option to consider here. What if Aristotle secretly retired or passed away, leading his son to score the keys to the kingdom and continue using his name? Perhaps Billy Flynn's debut will reveal that Aristotle is his father and that he's taken over for his dad at this point. That would explain why there's still so much secrecy regarding Aristotle and Y and R's build-up to this big reveal. Whatever the case, Aristotle's name will show up as a caller on Billy Abbott's phone in the March 24 episode. Billy and Aristotle's alliance could lead to problems for Victor, so stay tuned for updates on the bad news that's brewing. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Victor will make some predictions about drawing Aristotle out of hiding, but he could be in for a shock once that happens. Young and Restless fans know all too well that where there's smoke, there's fire. That's why Lily's scene with Devon in Society left us fearing that Nate may be in serious trouble. Lily was not amused when she and Devon walked in on Audra, sharing a laugh with Holden over drinks. The whole scene seemed to add to her trepidation about Nate's entire situation. Joining her brother at a table, Lily worried to Devon about Nate, explaining that this new scenario was coming into their cousin's life from all sides. Lily, of course, was referring to Nate being contacted by Amy, told he had a half-brother, being asked to lead a search for said brother, and playing mediator between the estranged mother and son. Since finding Damien, Nate has only become more entrenched, which is fine if everything is on the up and up, but if Lily's bad feeling pans out, he could be in trouble, or even grave danger. As we all know, Damien had an unexplained turn of fortune after cutting Amy loose and fleeing his home as a younger man. And the weirdness of sending Holden to impersonate him didn't help dispel suspicions about him or his life. Lily asked Victor to investigate him, and it turns out he doesn't own the companies he runs. Instead, the reclusive owner is a man named Aristotle Dumas. As we've recently learned from a preview, this mysterious figure also has history with the mustache. Even more puzzling is the Newman's claim that he's never seen Dumas, who doesn't even have a photo on social media. It's no wonder Lily is sensing something shifty might be going on. She went so far as to tell Devon she fears it could be an ambush, given how Holden, Amy, and Damien are infiltrating Nate's life so thoroughly. There's no question that Nate has become deeply entangled in this situation, which makes sense if they are people he will actually come to call family. However, Lily's hunch left us with a sense of unease, as it sounded like foreshadowing. After the scenes in Society aired, one fan made a harrowing prediction about not only Nate's girlfriend, but his trip to Chicago. Are Amy, Damien, and Holden targeting Nate? Was Amy's terminal illness and her estrangement from Damien all a ruse? We suppose anything is possible. After all, we were just blindsided by the reveal that it was Tracy Abbott's delightful fiancé who held Phyllis and Summer captive and experimented on them like lab rats. One simply cannot rule out that Amy and Damien are conning Nate with a little help from Holden. But we have to ask, to what end? The motive isn't obvious. It's possible they could be targeting Winters Inc. through Nate, but it's not his company, so that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Nate's no longer associated with Victor, so it also wouldn't make sense that it's part of some scheme cooked up by Dumas to get back at the Black Knight for a past beef. Lily's words seemed like foreshadowing of trouble for Nate, but perhaps her distrust of Damien is simply being written in to provide a roadblock to their eventual romance. That certainly seemed to be where things were headed when he asked her out for dinner, and we all know young and restless writers are going to put hurdles in place for them to overcome. Do you think Nate's in danger? Vote. Tracy Abbott's journey. Will she finally find happiness? Tracy Abbott has been a beloved figure in the young and the restless for decades, known for her resilience, kindness, and enduring hope for love. However, happiness has often slipped through her fingers. As Genoa City's drama continues to unfold, the question remains, will Tracy finally get the love story she deserves? Recent developments suggest that Tracy is stepping into an exciting new phase of her life. After years of focusing on her career and family, it seems love is knocking on her door again. While her past relationships have been filled with heartbreak, Tracy has never given up on the idea of finding true companionship. But will this new romance bring the happiness she's been waiting for, or will history repeat itself? Fans are eager to see Tracy in a relationship that truly honors her kind-hearted nature and strength. As Tracy navigates this new chapter, her family dynamics remain a significant factor. The Abbotts have always been a tight-knit yet complicated family. With ongoing tensions between Jack, Ashley, and other members, Tracy may find herself caught in the middle once again. Could family drama overshadow her personal happiness? Or will she finally step out of the shadows and claim a future that's truly her own? Beyond romance, Tracy's role in Genoa City remains as important as ever. Her wisdom and unwavering support for those around her make her a cornerstone of the Abbott family. But will she finally prioritize herself and chase after what she really wants? No matter what twists and turns come her way, one thing is certain, Tracy Abbott's story is far from over. Fans will be watching closely to see if this chapter brings long overdue happiness or yet another heartbreaking turn. Stay tuned to the young and the restless to see what's next for Tracy Abbott. Let me know if you want any tweaks. The young and the restless spoilers and updates tease Phyllis Summers may find herself in Fairview or a comparable facility if her mental state deteriorates and necessitates immediate care. The pressure from Alan Laurent, also known as Martin Laurent, and his manipulative game is clearly taking a toll on Phyllis. Just how deep will her descent go? Martin subjected Phyllis and Sharon Newman to his own distorted version of therapy by confining them in an abandoned psychiatric hospital, but this approach has clearly backfired for Phyllis. While Sharon and Phyllis have improved their relationship, Phyllis is struggling on a deeper personal level. Fans of Y&R are noticing that Phyllis' unpredictable behavior is causing concern for Summer Newman, and Billy Abbott has also observed that Phyllis is not her usual self. During the week of March 24-28, Billy will step in to assist Phyllis as she attempts to hide her troubles from Summer and Daniel Romalotti Jr. Phyllis will turn to Billy for support, but does she require more help than he can provide? Should Phyllis' trauma persist, she may find herself in Fairview or another psychiatric facility. If she suffers a mental breakdown, at the very least, she could be admitted to Memorial's psychiatric unit, where she can receive the expert care necessary for recovery. Sharon might even help persuade Phyllis that taking such a significant step is essential for her well-being. This could further strengthen the bond between Phyllis and Sharon, solidifying their newfound understanding forged during their time as captives. Previously, Billy supported Chelsea Lawson during her mental health challenges, and now he is prepared to lend the same support to Phyllis. Viewers will remember Billy saved Chelsea's life literally, keeping her from jumping off a roof downwards to her certain death. He literally pulled her back. He'd do the same for Phyllis if he sees her in crisis, because he can definitely tell the signs of a friend in danger. Phyllis will require the support of her family and friends as she strives to regain her former self. Billy is likely to share his optimistic forecasts about Phyllis overcoming this challenge, but it will demand significant effort and possibly some professional assistance to achieve that. Future spoilers indicate that Phyllis faces some challenging times ahead, so we will keep you informed with any updates regarding her mental health journey. Be sure to catch up on everything happening with Y and R right now. Just when we thought Genoa City had hit its peak in villainy, along comes Alan, or as we like to call him, Martin, with a secret evil agenda. And now, Young and the Restless, speculation is running wild that he's not the only one pulling the strings. What if he's teamed up with none other than Ian Ward? That's right, folks. The ultimate troublemaker, Ian Ward, who has been a recurring nightmare for Sharon for years and recently dragged Phyllis and her family into his messy plans, could very well be orchestrating this madness alongside Martin, aka Fake Alan. Doesn't that just make way more sense? Martin, heir Alan, is a newbie in Genoa City. How else would he know which two women would make the best lab rats for his bizarre little social experiment? Someone had to be feeding him intel, and Ian Ward is exactly the kind of mastermind who would thrive in this chaos. Let's take a moment to truly appreciate how utterly ridiculous and dangerous this team-up would be. On one hand, we have Alan/Martin, a man who is so obsessed with conducting human experiments that he kidnapped two of Genoa City's most chaotic women. On the other hand, we have Ian Ward, a literal cult leader who has spent years manipulating and tormenting people for his own twisted enjoyment. Together, they're an unhinged cocktail of diabolical mischief, and Genoa City might not be ready for this level of insanity. Imagine these two sitting in a dimly lit lair, cackling over their grand schemes, while Ian feeds Martin philosophical nonsense about destiny and control. Ian probably convinced Martin that testing Phyllis and Sharon was some kind of spiritual journey, when in reality, he's just getting a kick out of the drama. And let's not forget, the last time Ian messed with Sharon and Phyllis, things were a deadly state of affairs. If he really is in league with Martin, we could be looking at a disaster of epic proportions. Could this be Ian's latest attempt at revenge? Or is Martin just a pawn in an even bigger scheme? Either way, we should all be very, very worried. Young and the Restless spoilers for the week of March 24, 2025 are here. Fans can expect Sharon Newman to help Tracy Abbott. Devin Hamilton Winters learns disturbing news. Plus, Claire Grace Newman, Haley Aaron, and Kyle Abbott, Michael Mueller, break the rules. Keep reading and let's talk about what is coming up in the CBS soap opera. Tracy Abbott and Sharon Newman's alliance. During the week of March 24, fans will see Tracy realize that something is very wrong with her fiancé. Tracy even mentioned to Jack Abbott, Peter Bergman, that it was like Alan was like a different person. Could it be that Alan is really Martin Laurent? In any case, Tracy will need to figure this out before getting off to Paris. Later in the week, Jack fears for Tracy's safety. Meanwhile, Sharon helps Tracy connect the dots about Alan. Yes, Sharon. After Tracy comes to some realization, she opens up once again to Jack. On Friday, though, Jack will fear for his sister's safety. Over with Devin, he will make a disturbing discovery. That same day, Victor Newman shares valuable intel with Lily Winters. Then we have the preview clip, which shows Victor telling Michael Baldwin that he has a history with Aristotle Dumas. Just who is this Dumas person? It's been mentioned that nobody knows what the guy looks like, so that seems to suggest that it's someone we recognize. I'm still betting on Tucker McCall or maybe even Mamie Johnson. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Claire and Kyle will break the rules. It's not clear what kind of rule the grown adults are breaking. Perhaps this is something that will upset Summer Newman or even Victor. In any case, it seems Claire is getting more bold. Claire is also getting tired of Summer's interference, so she will want to make a bold statement. Fans will also see Billy Abbott set the record straight with Sally Spectra about Phyllis Summers. It is also stated that Billy shares his latest plan with Red. However, while Sally later calls Billy's bluff, Phyllis gets some comfort from Nick Newman. It is also stated that Jack and Nikki Newman disagree. Could this be about Kyle's love triangle with Claire and Summer? Which storyline are you looking forward to seeing the most? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Lately, the Young and the Restless fans have noticed Nikki Newman's screen time shrinking. Could this mean that Melody Thomas Scott is on her way out? Is the iconic actress being taken off contract? Let's find out right away. Ever since Victor went all out rebuilding the original Newman Ranch, Nikki hasn't been around much on the Young and the Restless. It's about time she stepped back into the spotlight where she belongs. Sure, she was at the center of the whole Jordan and Ian Ward chaos for a short time, but let's be honest, after some time, she was more of a background player rather than being the prime target. Now, with Jordan out of the picture and Ian Ward supposedly dead, Nikki has been pushed to the sidelines. But is that really the end of her story? Could actress Melody Thomas Scott actually be leaving? Because, let's face it, Y&R fans are long overdue for another juicy Nikki-focused storyline. In fact, there are so many exciting ways to bring her back into the thick of things. The show could give her some serious screen time at Chancellor Winters. She's carrying on Catherine Chancellor's legacy, and we all know Nikki would never dishonor her late best friend's memory. But we don't just want to hear about it, we want to see her in action. Watching her take charge, make power moves, and remind everyone why she's a force to be reckoned with in the corporate world would be a dream come true. Then, there's the lingering question of Dylan. Many years ago, Nikki and Paul finally reunited with their long-lost son, played by Steve Burton. He built a life in Genoa City, fell for Chelsea, married Sharon, and then, just like that, he was gone. Forced into witness protection, he's barely been mentioned since. But what if Nikki decided enough was enough? What if she set out to find him? Consequences be damned. A mother's love is unstoppable, and a storyline like this could shake things up in all the best ways. Let's not forget that Nikki once had some love for politics too. Back in 2013, she won a seat on Genoa City's city council, but had to step down when her multiple sclerosis diagnosis changed everything. Now that she's managing her condition, maybe it's time for a comeback, this time aiming higher. Mayor Nikki Newman, it has a nice ring to it. Imagine the power struggles, rivalries, and juicy scandals that could come from her running for office. Of course, this is Genoa City, where the past never truly stays buried. What if Nikki's early days as a stripper came back to haunt her? Maybe she witnessed a crime that was never solved, or maybe she was involved in something that's about to be exposed. Could an old associate return with blackmail in mind? Or what if Nikki once took justice into her own hands and thought she got away with it? Until now. A past bombshell like this would send shockwaves through town and give Nikki the dramatic storyline she deserves. Now, before anyone panics, let's set the record straight. Melody Thomas Scott is still on contract as a regular. Y&R wouldn't dream of letting go of such an iconic character. If she's been off-screen more than usual, it's probably just a well-earned break after carrying so much of the back-on-alcohol storyline. After all that chaos, she deserves a little breather. While Nikki has been laying low on screen, Scott recently took a moment to honor a former Y&R co-star in real life. She shared a heartfelt tribute on her Instagram to Wings Hauser, who played Greg Foster, Nikki's first husband on the show. As for Nikki's next storyline, what do you want to see? Let us know in the comments down below. Thank you for checking out this video. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for new videos every day. Turn that bell notification on if you want to hear from us, and comment down below if you subscribed. We'll make sure to reply and thank as many of you as we possibly can. The Young and the Restless spoilers for the week of March 24-28 implies some explosive bombshells on the horizon. As fans know, Genoa City can be a revolving door where characters come and go, only to return again. Learn more about the casting changes that will take place over the next 5 days by reading below. Tracy Abbott's new storyline will have her seen more on the canvas during the week of March 24-28, as Beth Maitland takes center stage on the show. As fans know, her fiancé Alan Laurent has been acting strange and is the one who kidnapped Sharon Newman and Phyllis Summers. It's clear that Alan is really his evil twin brother, Martin Laurent, so it'll be interesting to see what happens next. Tracy will be seen this week on Wednesday, March 26, as Sharon helps her connect the dots, as well as on Thursday, March 27, when she vents to Jack Abbott. Still, during the Friday, March 28 episode, Jack will worry about Tracy, so could Alan lure her into danger? It's been a hot minute since fans have seen Tessa Porter, and it sounds like she'll reappear during the week of March 24-28. Tessa was heavily involved on Canvas when Ian Ward and Jordan meddled with her mother-in-law, Sharon's, bipolar meds. In fact, Ian was also able to cause chaos when he got close to Society's manager, in an effort to get closer to Mariah Copeland. Tessa befriended the old man, not realizing he was her wife's past tormentor, and believed his story that he had changed. Lucky for her, he was exposed before he could cause any more damage. What has Tessa popping back up on screens? Fans will have to tune in to find out. Are you excited about the week of March 24-28? Share your thoughts below. Watch the CBS Soap Daily to catch all the drama in GC, and visit this site often for the most up-to-date Young and the Restless news and spoilers. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that there could be another curveball coming in the Aristotle Dumas storyline. There's been a huge mystery surrounding this reclusive billionaire who doesn't even have his picture posted online. Of course, the name Aristotle Dumas appears to be a chosen name rather than one he was born with. The Dumas part was surely selected as a nod to Alexander Dumas, who wrote The Count of Monte Cristo. Perhaps Aristotle, or whatever his real first name is, bonded with Damian Kane over their mutual love for their book. That may have been why Aristotle decided to bring Damian into his corporation and let him run some companies. Victor has a history with Aristotle since they would compete for businesses in the past, but Aristotle would always disappear in the end. However, we should note that Victor previously admitted he never actually met Aristotle. Aristotle's disappearing act was more of a situation where he just wasn't competing anymore. This mystery man would strike and eventually vanish in a sense of removing himself from the drama. Wings Hauser played the role of Nikki Newman's first husband, Greg Foster, on Y&R. The Young and the Restless alum Wings Hauser passed away at the age of 77. Melody Thomas Scott paid tribute to her dear friend and former co-star on social media. Hauser passed away after a long battle with COPD. His daughter, Bright Hauser, shared the details with The Hollywood Reporter. Hauser died at his Santa Monica home earlier this month. He is survived by his wife, Collie Lily Hauser, and his son, Yellowstone actor, Cole Hauser. Hauser was also one of 4 children. He was born to his parents Geraldine and Dwight Hauser, who worked as a producer and director in Hollywood. The family left Los Angeles when Hauser was 8 years old. He got the name Wings when he played football in high school. Hauser is best known for his role as Greg Foster on Y&R, who was Nikki Newman's first husband and Jill Foster's brother. The soap star posted a throwback photo on Instagram. Scott shared a black and white shot from Greg and Nikki's wedding. Scott shared a heartfelt message for her dear friend. She admitted that she adored working with him. Scott gave younger Y&R fans history on the characters and shared a story of their friendship off the show. We would walk over to farmer's market together every morning to have breakfast at Dupar's. With his script for that day always rolled up in his back pocket, I would laugh belief that he would learn his lines through osmosis, Scott shared, but it always seemed to work. We shared many powerful scenes. He was so talented and showed me the ropes. Hosser also brought his children to the set. Scott recalls many times when Cole and Bright would visit her house on the weekends. The Y and R vets were like family. Even though the show was only a half hour then, Scott called their scenes magical. She concluded, "I adored him and will forever cherish his memory. R.I.P. my friend." Fans shared their thoughts, memories, and prayers in the comment section.